Justin Allgaier is at the State FFA convention today because of his relationship with the National FFA and Brant's, of course, relationship with agriculture and the fact that Justin's a local guy right here from Riverton. Good opportunity to come out and be back in Central Illinois.
It really is. You know, I love coming home and doing anything at home, but to come out here to have the Brant Chevy out here and to see all the kids that are coming through and you know, all the members of the FFA, it's such a great event for them. You know, obviously I'm just even honored to be sitting out here, you know, to see what they're doing inside there.
Tell us a little bit about your racing relationship with the National FFA. How did it get started?
You know, it obviously with Brant being in the agriculture industry, Rick Brant, the CEO, one of his dreams, ambitions is to have an entirely agriculture-based car. And so we started reaching out to different agriculture industry members, and the FFA was one that we felt like was a great relationship, because obviously not only are they driving our youth into something that is a huge need, and that is keeping agriculture going into feeding our growing population, but also too, you know, a lot of them are race fans. You look at our population of race fan, and a lot of them are small town agriculture industry members. I mean, it's all about technology and horsepower and doing what we do on the racetrack, and they're huge supporters of our industry, and so it's only fitting that you know, obviously we're huge supporters of what they do.
And while you weren't a member of the FFA chapter, you know, you still, being from Riverton, a good appreciation of what goes on in agriculture, and certainly your connection now with Brant, as you say, you understand what kind of a economic power and engine and what a good opportunity it is for young people to be involved in if that's their career choice. Absolutely.
You know, I like you said, I wasn't an FFA member, but you know, I grew up in a farming community, and a lot of my close friends are farmers or in the agriculture industry, and so to have that growing up, and then now to be associated with a company like Brant, which I'll be honest with you, I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of great sponsors over the years, and nobody has been nobody has gone out of their way like Brant has. I mean, it's just a great company, great group of people, and very awesome goals, in my opinion, as far as what they're trying to accomplish with their products, with their business model. It's a great company to be associated with. So, you know, to have that and to be able to come out and do things like this, I mean, it is, for me, this is a big deal, because, you know, I wish I had been able to be more involved whenever I was growing up, because I really look at it now, and there's so much benefit to it, and what these kids are learning and what they're able to take from this and what they're able to move on and do is just amazing.
You know how sponsorship money makes the world of racing go around. You've been in it a very long time. When you were starting out racing, and then when you started to make your climb, did you ever think you'd find a major sponsor right in your own backyard? Did racing for Brant ever cross your mind?
You know, I looked at Tim Wilkerson, and obviously his relationship with the Springfield area, and I'm not going to say I was jealous of that, but I always looked at that and said, you know, hopefully one day something like that will happen, and I can be able to represent a company from where I'm from, and you know, really help the Springfield community, because it's a great community. Unfortunately, we just we don't get the recognition sometimes we deserve. And actually, Evelyn here, which is sitting next to us, I actually met her quite a few years ago. Long before I ever met anybody else from Brant, and got to go to their headquarters. I went to the National Women Business Owners Convention, and I spoke in front of their group, and I had a great time. And even then, I didn't ever expect that the Brant would be on the side of a race car. And a couple of years later, I got to meet Rick, and everything kind of seemed to come together, and obviously we got Evelyn's stamp of approval. She's been a huge supporter of the racing program, and you know, for us, it's just, for me, this has been a dream come true. I hope, you know, that they're happy with having that relationship with somebody from the area, but for me, this has been a dream come true to have an organization from right here in Springfield, and to be able to represent them on a national level and a world level. There's no words that can describe how much fun that is for me.
Tell us a little bit how your season's going. You haven't recorded a victory yet, but you're probably pretty much where you'd like to be in the points, top 5.
Yeah, top 5 in the points. We struggled a little bit. We got crashed in Daytona, and then we actually have had a few failures that have kept us out of victory lane. But everybody at Turner Motorsports is working really, really hard. We feel like we're building better race cars than we've ever built. We're making steady gains on it each and every week, and that's what it's going to take to not only get up there in the top 1 or 2 in points, but to get back in victory lane. So hopefully we can get things turned around, and we still got a lot of racing left to go. That's the beauty of all of it.
Any race in particular you're looking forward to for the rest of the year?
I think for me, I'm looking forward to all of them, because what I've learned over the course of this past year, the racetracks I thought we'd be good at, we've seemed to struggle at, and the racetracks that I didn't expect to run good at, we've run good at. So I've decided that I'm going to go into it with eyes wide open and both feet, jumping in, feet first, and just go at each race like we have the opportunity to win. And I feel like if we can do that and we can keep plugging away like we are, we're going to have some really strong race cars by the end of the season.
You mentioned Turner Motorsports. How has your relationship been with them as you're continuing on your career now with them? Oh,
it's been great. The last 2 years, well, the last year and a half or so, of getting to know everyone, getting to learn the systems and how everything works. It's the biggest small team I've ever been a part of. They obviously do a lot. They've got a lot of race cars rolling out of their shop, but it's got that small team feel, like what when I was growing up racing for my dad. It's very similar to that same style of racing, and so for me, I feel like I mesh very well with the guys, with the ownership and how everything's run. So we have our struggles being a smaller team and being an independent team, but I think that's what makes it fun at the end of the day. When you can go out and you can beat some of the cup teams and some of the teams that have bigger budgets, that makes you feel good. So it's been a great relationship, and excited to keep moving that forward to through at least the end of the season, and then hopefully into the future.
You didn't so much make news, but someone associated with you made some news. You and Kurt Busch got into a little scrape up on the course, on the track, and then later that kind of boiled over, and Busch made it boil over even more with his comments to a television reporter. That's just part of racing right now. Do you have any thoughts on what had happened and a good way to handle that?
I think that the biggest thing for me was it was an interesting situation, because we had some interesting times on the track, and I think for me the one thing that I've learned is you have to figure out what the problems are and before you can fix them, and so I just wanted to know why things were happening the way that they were, and unfortunately I had no idea that it would transform into what it did, and I think that's the part that I will say is I called his car owner on the Cup side and just said, hey, I'm sorry that things turned out the way they did. I don't apologize for having the conversation, but I'm sorry that things happened the way they did, because it's unfortunate that things escalated on his end. I think for me, it's done and it's over with, and we move on, and so hopefully things can get straightened out, and everyone can get turned back in the right direction, and we can move on from it.
Well, it was your name that was associated with it, and I'm glad it wasn't your face on the TV camera talking to a reporter that wound up being associated with it.
Yeah, we have some great reporters that cover our sport, and unfortunately, obviously their job is to try and find out all the information they can, and I feel bad for them, because sometimes they put themselves right in the line of fire just because of what they have to learn. So it's a shame that happened, but we did get on SportsCenter and a few other national news coverages. So at the end of the day, if it helps Brant, maybe it wasn't such a bad thing. But for me, one of the things that I've always tried to do is I try and answer questions as if as if it's my name on my fire suit or on my race car, and I know that controversy drives all things in life, and I don't necessarily buy into that completely, but at the same time, I try to handle it as correct as I can and as true to myself as I possibly can, and hopefully we handled it the best way. I don't know if what the right answer is, but hopefully we handled it the best way.
What are your now goals and aspirations for this career? You're in nationwide. Obviously, you'd probably like to race at the Cup level. I don't know, kind of if you have a timeline for that. What you think might play out now here in the future for your career?
I don't have a timeline because the one thing that I've learned about this sport is the more you think you know, the less you actually do. I love this sport. I hope that I'm fortunate enough to be able to keep racing until I'm 70 years old. I know that that's not likely, but I love everything about it, and so for me, I'm going to keep plugging away. Keep doing the best that I possibly can, and if it works out and I get an opportunity to go to the Cup level, that's great. But I've always said that if my career ended tomorrow, I'd be very, very happy with where I'm at and what I've been able to accomplish, and I don't know. I'm very happy with what we've been able to do. So we'll just keep plugging away, and hopefully something good will come out of it.
Last year, I got the opportunity to talk to Kenny Wallace at Farm Progress. He was racing for American Ethanol and other groups that are interested in agriculture. And you and the Wallaces have a good relationship, and he had nothing but nice things to say about you and your dad. And, did those relationships help you along the way more than you can imagine to get you to this point in racing? Just having some people you can call and rely on and talk to.
Absolutely. My dad's been around racing for multiple years. I mean, it's funny, sometimes, especially with a guy like Kenny Wallace, who isn't afraid to talk about racing and past stories, and to hear some of the stories about my father and where he's come from and who all he's helped. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. Some of the names of people that he's been involved with that are now, Cup champions and very well respected at the Cup level. So that's helped tremendously. I mean, I can't say that hasn't helped a lot. And when you have people like that are very good at what they do, that have a lot of power, it's nice to be able to use those resources. Kenny's a great guy and a great representative of the ag industry. Very similar to what we're trying to do with our car, and so. It's fun to have guys like that in our sport that have been around for a while and are very successful at what they do, but are still here and still driving along and still plugging along, trying to keep going. So it's definitely people like that I respect a lot. And as we keep going, hopefully I can keep my career rolling very similar to like what he's done.